Nigeria's economy moves forward every day because people choose to build. Across the country, entrepreneurs wake up each morning to run farms, open workshops, manage logistic fleets, write code, design clothing, produce films, manufacture goods, and keep markets active.
With over 39 million micro, small, and medium enterprises in Nigeria, the vision of a $1 trillion economy cannot be achieved by government alone. It requires the energy, resilience, and creativity of Nigerian entrepreneurs who convert ideas into value, transform local resources into finished products, and create jobs at scale.
If you take 10 entrepreneurs in the room and ask them what their biggest problems are, 9 out of 10 of them will tell you funding is their problem.
Well, first of all, we need a trust between the government and private sector as a whole, which, by the way, is something that's growing and evolving, I would say, and improving. But obviously, there's room to grow.
They say that you must bring a collateral for me to give you a loan. And what we're fighting for is that intellectual property is collateral. It's called intellectual property.
And the size of the digital market, as much as we've seen great success, there have been incredible brands created, incredible companies out of Nigeria, but I think we've not even seen the real potential of those companies or even the full breadth of companies that can be created in Nigeria because of deficits in things like electricity and infrastructure.
So we're a paperless clinic, we're a paperless facility. So a lot of what we do we need the internet for. And internet has actually really become a problem in recent times.
Somebody wants to withdraw, if there's no network, sometimes they debited the person. And if it's somebody that is not advanced enough, he will be thinking that you are the one owing the money.
If you're bringing in a container of duvet from outside Nigeria, the maximum duvet that can go into a container is about 1,200, which is something that we can produce within 7 to 8 hours. So while you are thinking of bringing 10 containers, we would have produced, about 5, 6 containers locally in one day within 24 hours. What that means is that we do not have to pay the cost of, importation, clearing goods, and also being able to make this local demand.
Probably promote our tourism. So as much as we do tours for people outside, we can get people to come into Nigeria and see the beauty of Nigeria, because they need to know that there are good places in Nigeria where you can come and have peace of mind.
Entrepreneurs are central to Nigeria's economic progress. They drive growth, create jobs, and expand opportunity.
When I say security, I mean no investor or no tourist will come to a country where they don't feel safe or secure.
Sport has the power to do much more than reduce unemployment. We can have a very robust economy just because of the enabling environment that has been created for sports to thrive.
So efficient logistics is very critical. It's just as important as the power problem that we have in the country. Is what will determine how much food we can actually produce that is consumable for not just society, but for export as well.
In food and wellness, stable power is not optional. Refrigeration, food safety systems, and equipment all depend on consistent energy.
We spend a lot of time in R&D trying to come up with new product ideas. So most of the products that we have were either the first or the second, or the first or the second biggest in the market in Nigeria right now. So for our frozen product, we're top 2.
Nigeria grows coffee in about 22 to 23 states. We have different species of coffee, but Arabica, which is what we primarily focus on, requires altitude of at least 800 to 1,000 meters above sea level to thrive.
We need to also move from the issue of warehousing and post-harvest management. We need to move to the issue of provision of market information. As a farmer, there are some of them that will say, please let me know what the right price is.
In whatever sector you think about, the process in which you get paid is one of the key items in your business plan. So that's why fintech becomes very important, because the minute you get the payment rails done, right, then you can now start building businesses on top of those payment rails. So that's why it's important to ensure that fintech is properly financed, properly supported, properly enabled, so that all the other dash techs can now be enabled to operate.
trying to get them to sign up in the app was not an issue. But getting customers to trust the services of those caterers, if they were vetted, if they were clean, if they were not going to run away with their funds, was one of the big challenge. So we now had to go back and set in with Flutterwave.
We have basically redesigned how we move things across Nigeria. Like I mentioned, we do rail, land, and air. So that way, we now have a mix of how to get things as fast as possible to people, because that is also the game.
While progress is being made, it is clear that more needs to be done to ensure that these efforts translate into everyday impact for entrepreneurs.
If you were given a choice to buy a brand new vehicle or a used vehicle, I'm sure you gravitate towards a brand new vehicle. So we're trying to solve that problem of having our own, proving that we can do it here, we can build it here, and potentially maybe even export what we have built here.
It's very, very difficult as federal regulators who do not necessarily have accessible points in every subnational or in every state to expect a smooth interaction if we don't digitalize our processes so that it's easy and seamless for people, so they don't have to travel from a local government to maybe a state capital to be able to access those services.
We are also focusing on deep tech research. We are looking at AI, IoT, UAV, blockchain, robotics, and additive manufacturing. These are general purpose technologies that can help us improve productivity in all critical sectors.
My employees need to make enough that they can operate in that environment. If I'm paying somebody $70K a month, obviously they're not going to live on the island. They're going to be living far out, which means they're going to have hours-long commutes to and from work, commutes that are very uncomfortable, commutes where they're going to be tired, they're probably not going to be the most hygienic in those conditions, and then they're not going to be able to think, they're not going to be able to perform at the standard that they need to be performing at.
So the ERP system allows us to have these seamless interactions among the various components that allows us to deliver on commitment to our customer. So with that system, it also offers a lot of visibility to the customers. So they're able to go online, put in the WABI number, and they track to know exactly where their shipment is.
I think to start your own business, you must have your own seed capital. And so if you don't have your own seed capital, then how do I know you're committed to that business? So you have to bring equity first. I think for me, it's not the banks. It's not the money market. I think it's the secondary market. I think there's a lot of opportunity in the capital market. And I think the capital market has a long way to go to democratize access.
Across these engagements, the feedback was consistent. Access to affordable financing remains a major challenge. Regulatory overlaps and taxation issues continue to place pressure on businesses.
To access structured bank financing, typically an entrepreneur should have, I would say, at least 3 years operating history. 3 years operating history allows a lender to be able to see the trend of your financial information. Have you been operating in an uninterrupted manner so your cash flows won't suddenly stop going forward? Are your margins healthy? And have you demonstrated the competence to be able to run this business sustainably and successfully?
And if they know the value of going public, everybody will want to go public. The reason why you do not have a lot of Dangotes is because they are not public. Dangote is where he is today because he went public. Otedola is where he is today because he went public.
As they say, Nigerians are resilient. I don't know what that means, though. It's just we don't have a choice. So you just keep it pushing. Do you know what I mean? There's no diesel, there's no lights. Okay, now we have to buy diesel. Prices are up. You know what I mean? We have a human resource problem. Okay, we're managing with the people that we have. Do you know what I mean? But why do we need to do that? There's increased costs everywhere, all over the place. But we just keep it pushing. But it would be really great if someone could really hear us, if someone could really see us, because a lot of people have been asking, a lot of people have been talking for years.
Social media and digital marketing has been one of the best things that has happened to the Nigerian business, the businesses in general, particularly mine.
When you say hope, it means for you to believe. When you say hope, just believe that something will happen. And if you get to the point where you start thinking that this thing you said was going to happen
it's not happening or it's not looking like it's going to happen. So you come with renewed hope, meaning that I'm reassuring you that what was said will be done.
To entrepreneurs across Nigeria, your work matters, your contribution is valued, and your voice is helping shape the future of this country. And this is why my principal, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, has said, "Dear entrepreneur, we see you, we hear you."
For a nation aspiring to rapid GDP expansion, productivity gains must come from technology adoption, innovation ecosystems, and knowledge-based enterprise development. And this, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, through his deliberate technology policies and drives, emphasizes and preaches that they all tax. And so we call on all Nigerians to continue to support these initiatives because they will certainly take Nigeria out of the woods and position us as a leading country in Africa and not just a followership country.